Story 1 by user/Galaxy and Strawberry on Reddit. For the sake of keeping this from getting out of control and making sure he doesn't know I'm sharing though, I'm going to change his name to Max. So towards the last few weeks of my 8th grade year, we switched seats in my social studies class. In this new table, it was Max, 2 other kids, and me. Max sat across from me, and he didn't talk much at first. He was a typical shy kid. He's the kind who would never raise his hand in class, never got called on. But a few weeks ago, everything changed. As an important part of the story, I would like to say I'm very go with the flow type of a girl with an open mind. I don't like to start conflict with my friends describing me as nice. This is how everything started to go downhill. I started to make a small talk with him because I felt bad nobody talked with him. The conversations were becoming more natural, and soon we started to get closer, being friends and not acquaintances. During the time we started talking, he gave me his number. I put it on my contacts, but it turned out that he had phones taken away because he was on his sister's. But soon he gave me his number, and I kept losing it and forgot to ask for it again, and one of my friends gave it to him, but once he started to text me, that's when he started talking to me a lot more. Mostly about homework or stuff that happened in class during the day. Normal things kids usually talk about. But when things became less natural and more forced, when I was walking up to a local store with one of my friends or my family, watching movies or at a family dinner, my phone would go off 5 or more times in a minute. We were talking one day, and his sister apparently made a joke and asked him if he was gay. He asked me and said, "You kind of have a gay vibe, but that's it, to be honest. It's a really good quality." He started to get upset, and I told him it was probably a compliment, but then he started to ask me, "Do you think that's why I have no friends besides you? My only friend?" I don't know why, but that kind of made me feel uncomfortable. Maybe it was the way he worded it, but after that he just kept asking me if I was his friend, and to be honest, when I said that I did, it set him off. I said, "We're not really close friends. I mean, we don't have many things in common, but you're not in my main friend group." He responded right away and said, "See, you can introduce me to your friends, right?" After that, he started to be pushy, trying to get into our private conversations, and texted me to try to get my friends to talk to him. I felt bad because he didn't really have many friends, but mine would tell me a lot that he was annoying, or would say he can't stay in his own business. I didn't have the heart to say to my friends he didn't like to hang out with him, so I tried to change the subject when he asked about my friends. He started to catch on and asked me why I was avoiding the questions, and I told him that we should try to get into school activities, and he said he could have a fresh start in freshman year. Then he called me. It was 11:20, and he called me an hour after I sent the text. I didn't answer first because I was relaxed, watching a movie, getting ready to go to sleep, but after the second call, I picked up. "Max, do you not want to be friends with me or something?" "What? I never said that." "Oh, really? Then why are you getting in my way? I'm trying to make friends, but you're holding me back." "Look, I said you had to take it slow. You might come off the wrong way. I didn't want to say this, but if you will, it will keep happening. They're kind of getting annoyed by you, trying to always be in our conversations." He paused a few minutes after, trying not to say anything. I said his name. "Max, stop lying to me." That's when he hung up. He didn't come to school the next day, and I wish that's where the story ended. He started saying rude things over text about my friends and I, but after a while I deleted his number. He found other numbers to text me off of, so I just kept blocking out all of them. By this time I requested to go to the other side of the classes I had with him, so I wouldn't have to work with him at all. But no matter where I was, I could feel his eyes staring at me. I only had a few minutes until lunch was over, and my friends and I went to the library for lunch to work on homework that we all needed to finish. Right after the bell rang, I bolted to the library to see my friends were already there. I hadn't told them what had been happening the last few weeks with Max because I didn't want anyone to get in trouble. As I said, I hate conflict. When I got into the library, they asked me what was wrong. I said that nothing was wrong, and my teacher had held my class back later than normal. The teacher was known to be rude and essentially a mean person, so they understood. We started to work our packet together, and after a while, I used the restroom. It was down the hall to the left. After I finished there, I walked in. I got pushed back in. My heart stopped. It was Max. He had barged into the girls' restroom and pushed me against the bathroom wall. Just so you know, the normal height for almost a 15-year-old girl, I'm 5'2", and he was at least 5'6". He just started screaming in my face I was the reason that I was the reason he didn't have any friends. And I ruined his life. The whole time I was screaming for help, crying, we had everyone in the library, cafeteria, and I could finally get my arms a little out of his grip, kicking him enough times. I ran down the hall and James, one of the guys in the library, doing the packet with me. He came to see what was taking me so long, and he asked me why I was crying. After he said that, Max ran to the corner of the restroom wall to see me cowardly hiding behind James, who looked at me. Back, Max sped walked, saying, "Max," well, more like screaming, "What the hell did you do to her?" The teacher came around before anything serious happened. They took James and I to different rooms and Max to ask questions about what happened. I had told them everything, the texts, the threats, the calls, the bathroom. Long story short, Max was expelled from school the rest of the year, and I wouldn't have to deal with him again because he was going to a different high school than me. James is the only one that knows the full story and out of my group of friends because I didn't want to bring it up again. But after summing it up, it was never brought up again by others. I feel like I can finally breathe and not be worried anymore. But something good did come out of this. You know that James I was talking to you about? Well, he saved me. We kind of started to talk and hang out more and more. We might grow into something else later down the line, but nothing could really be better at this point. All I have to say is be careful about who you even talk to in school. I never would have thought he'd get been this crazy.
Story 2 by the Nutcracker. This happened when I was 18 and applying to get into a college. I was 6 hours away from my home. That summer, my family and I, we are only 4, traveled there so I could start all of the paperwork. It took most of the day, just filling forms and waiting in line. So when I was finished, we decided to go eat and do a little shopping. We were at a clothing store. My mom and sister were looking at dresses, and my dad was on the opposite side of the store looking through the men's clothes. I got bored, so I decided to go where my dad was. I walked slowly, looking at everything in my way, and took a small detour at the girls section. I'm a female with a petty body, so I would often check the 12-year-olds' clothes to see if there was anything that I could fit or was cute. As I was leaving that section, a man out of nowhere said hi to me. I didn't even stop walking and responded with "Hey," and left. When I got to the men's section, my dad was about to go into the fitting room to try something. So I stayed outside waiting for him right next to the fitting rooms, against the wall where the men's shoes were. I started checking them out, trying to decide which I would buy if I were a man, when suddenly a left arm passed inches away from my face and grabbed a pair of shoes that were directly in front of my face. I said, "Oh, sorry," and walked away. The arm passed right above my left shoulder. I thought maybe there was someone waiting for me to freaking move. I got tired and did that. I looked back and saw the man who had done it. He was the same man who had said hi to me. He was tall, blonde, and tan-skinned. And to make things worse, he was looking directly at me. Not mad, not happy. Just a blank stare. I got really mad and gave him my death stare. I began to recall what happened. The arm almost touched me was his left arm, which meant his whole body must have been directly behind me. And I was so distracted that I had not noticed. How long had he been standing behind me? I come from a city with a lot of crime, so when my alarms ring, I don't hesitate. I walked back to where my mom was, explained the situation. As soon as my dad found us, we left. I messed up on some of the forms and could not enter college that August, but I was able to register for a couple of classes. That would only be a part of the last part of November and December. I got an apartment and my mom moved in with me for a couple of weeks to help me get settled. One day we went out to buy a router on Best Buy. There was a lot of people in the store. A salesperson came to us and helped. We started following around the place. When we could not decide between two routers, he told us to follow him and he would ask that knew a bit more towards them. He started walking. Then my mom and I stayed behind. A minute later, I started to walk past the printers and just had to cross a hallway just to get to them. I was walking, looking at them, when someone ran into me. It was not like when you're walking into someone and hits your shoulder. This person hit me so hard I almost fell backwards. This person hit me with their torso, almost like they tried to rub their body against mine. I was in shock and kept walking towards my mom. I turned around to look which asshole had done it, and my heart stopped. It was him. Again. I'd forgotten about him. There he was looking at me. As soon as he noticed I was looking at him, he stared to pretend he was looking for some stuff. He was wearing all black. Black jeans, black leather jacket, black shirt, and a black cap. I started to panic. Did he recognize me? Almost half a year later? I started to hurry up my mom, and less than 5 minutes later we were leaving. When we got to the car, I kept covering my face so he couldn't see which car I got in. As my mom drove slowly into the parking lot, he came out running out of the store. He was looking everywhere, desperately turning every direction. It creased me out just remembering he didn't find me. It took a couple of weeks to feel safe again, to not be paranoid about every man around me. What scared me the most is that I've always been aware of my surroundings, but somehow, he always managed to get really, really close to me without noticing at all. If it not happened in such a public place, I don't think what could have happened. The only bad part is, I swear, I see him every night at my window, just staring at me with that blank stare. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Alex, you gotta say anything?
I don't know. Thank you guys so much for watching, everybody in this video who we took your story without asking, but you will be credited, and I will be leaving a comment on your story under the alias of Sonic Otter.
Yes.
To everybody watching, click the link down in the description to see both links, both stories. If you're a little weirded out, give this person an upvote. We did. And as always,
go check out our channels in the description below. Alex and I are doing like random like series or like random videos once in a while on our main channel. Alex is gonna start mainly. Maybe he's just gonna do like higher or lower on his channel.
It's not gonna be a thing. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'd like to remind you, stay weird.